Coach. White Rocket Entertainment, podcast number 967 with special guest Bruce Pearl. A must win in basketball gets it done. Can it change the season? The AU Wishbone is next. From back to being cold again here in Southern Illinois. How is it over in Eastern Virginia? It's the AU Wishbone podcast. John, how are you tonight?
I'm well, Van. It's getting chilly over here again. Had a little snow last night.
You're getting some stuff coming, is my understanding, right? It's going to get even worse.
No, I mean it came through over the Sunday night, and we got an inch or so here. Nothing exciting.
All right.
North of here, a different story. So.
Oh yeah. You're kind of at the bottom, right? And it's up above you. So, woo. Well, it is. We're back on Monday night, as the good Lord intended us to be. We had a late show last week because I had the flu. I'm still kind of getting over it. So if I'm coughing a lot and sniffling stuff, I apologize. But the show must go on, and we're trying to keep Boris the Tiger from getting the flu. He does not want it at all. But it has not been any fun. So, I mean, we've got a lot of great stuff to talk about tonight. It would help if I had the audio open so that we could actually talk about it. But I'll do that now because it is time. Oh, I've been looking forward to this one, John. It's the AU Fun Meter. After a particularly exciting Auburn and otherwise sports weekend. And I'm excited. So where is your Auburn Fun Meter? And there's a possibility we could diverge tonight just because I know where mine is. I don't have to stop and think about it.
All right. Big basketball win over Kentucky. I know baseball and softball had good wins this weekend. Not Auburn, but U.S. hockey team beat Canada. That was fun. Men and women.
Yeah. It's up there. Yeah. I'm going to go 9. I'm full on 9. I'm excited. We had a big, and one other thing we forgot, and I'll let Boris mention it, but this is Aubie's birthday week. So Cousin Aubs is celebrating his big, how old is Aubie this year? I don't even know, but he's up there. So happy birthday to the great spirit of Auburn himself. And I don't mean Boris. I mean Aubie, same thing. So yeah, the baseball team, let's start real quick with them. They beat Florida State, I believe. They beat Kansas State, and they beat Louisville.
Yep.
Is that right? I think they took one of them to the run limit. Like they made them quit because they scored too many runs on them.
That's a good thing. The run rule.
Cool. Yeah, they run ruled one of those teams, which is awesome. I don't care which one it was. It's good to do it to any of them. And so yeah, their second straight top 15 opponent. They defeated number 15 Louisville 10-6 on their way to being crowned the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series champions for Week 2 Sunday afternoon at Globe Life Field. There's a lot of insurance company and energy company. There's a lot of Tommy Norris from Landman in that paragraph. The win marked Auburn's 8th straight in Arlington, dating back to the program's inaugural trip in 2022, including its 4th win against a top 15 opponent in the tournament. So congratulations to the Auburn baseball team. They don't get enough talk on this show, but they certainly earned a little mention up front tonight. You mentioned that the USA women's and then men's hockey teams beat Canada. Sucks to be Canada in both of men's and women's categories. And I couldn't believe it. I knew that the U.S. team, since they started letting the NHL guys in, had come close. But it didn't really dawn on me before that they hadn't won the gold medal since Lake Placid 1980.
Yes.
And this is the first time. I think they've been runner-up twice maybe, but they've never been able to close the deal. And so they did it. And at the cost of that guy's teeth, his front teeth were gone, but he got his dang gold medal. But yeah, so I remember Lake Placid 1980. I watched it. I know it was recorded. We saw it a little later in the day than it actually happened, but I hadn't, you didn't have social media or anything in 1980, so you didn't really know what had happened when you'd watch it. And so saw them beat the Russians and then beat Finland for the gold medal in 1980. That's always, by the way, a really good trivia question is what team did the U.S. beat for the gold medal in 1980? People always will say the Russians, right?
Yeah.
But that was in the semifinal. They beat Finland in the gold medal game. And they had to come from behind in both games. But in this one, it was 1-0 U.S., and then it was 1-1, and then they went through a scoreless third period, and then they go out sudden death, and it was sudden. It was sudden, and for Canada, it was death. So that was very exciting, very exciting. And I mean, all of that happened in less than 12 hours. That was right after that was the morning after the U.S. beat Kentucky. Auburn beat
after
Kentucky.
The national victory over Kentucky.
Yeah, the whole country was supporting us in that. 75-74. I'll tell you what, man, when we beat Kentucky, it's always exciting. It's kind of like, it's funny. It's like Steve Spurrier used to point out. It's like when Auburn beats Florida. You remember Spurrier would say, like, when Florida would beat Auburn in football, it would be like 40-10. And when Auburn would beat Florida, it'd be a last-second field goal at the buzzer. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way that it's been in basketball. When Kentucky beats us, they kind of beat us down. But when we beat them, it's like a last-second thing, or overtime in the Elite Eight. And, man, that was an exciting game, start to finish. It was one of those where it never felt like either team was going to run off and hide. They stayed within 9, I guess, was the highest.
Yep.
It was against us. But even then, there were 2 times Kentucky kind of ran out ahead of us a little bit, and both times we reeled it right back in very quickly and went on runs of our own. And then it kept, you tell me, it kept feeling to me like Auburn was playing better and could win if we could just stop messing up. We would get out in front by like 6 points and you'd start feeling good, and then something would happen, it would be tied again, It's like if you quit making mistakes, we could win this thing. But they made just enough mistakes that it took a last-second shot and a controversial penalty foul to get it done. There were so many. I mean, the moments that this Auburn team makes us pull our hair out. There were so many missed layups, empty possessions under the basket, ball rolling around the rim and rolling off over and over and over. Just random, we throw it out of bounds or throw it right to them so many times in the second half. And I'm just like, we're giving this game away. We're giving it away. So it always felt to me like we were the better team or playing better on that day, and we're just trying to give it away. What was your impression?
I think that's it. But I also think it was a team that had lost 5 games in a row that was trying to find a way to win, that didn't have confidence.
Yeah.
They didn't believe 100% when they walked out of that court, that good things were going to happen to them, that they were going to win the game.
Yeah. That's true. So it is a win over Kentucky. It breaks the losing streak. It's our we beat Kentucky in Lexington last year, and we beat them in Auburn this year. Pope becomes the first Kentucky coach to go 0-2 against Auburn, which is pretty cool. We'll get to more on that a little bit later on in the program, actually. Yeah. But yeah, it helps maybe build up a little confidence, and this has got to be a huge thing for the NCAA tournament. I mean, you don't want to lose the rest of the games, and surely they won't, but given that they had just gone on a 5-game losing streak, if closing out and being able to say we beat Florida on the road and Kentucky at home, how do you leave out a team that beats Florida and Kentucky in the same season? I don't see how you leave them out of the tournament.
No, that was a huge difference maker for us. If we'd have lost that game, we would have been on the outside of the bubble looking in. Now we're firmly on the inside looking out. We're not one of the last few teams in. We are in the tournament right now. We got to take care of, we got 2 kind of winnable games coming up before we play Alabama. And then we're going to play, as you pointed out last week, we're going to play somebody, winnable in the first SEC tournament game. We take care of those and we're fine.
Yeah, I think so. And this team, when they're on, they are an NCAA tournament team. They deserve it.
Yes.
They have their moments where they don't look like they could win an NIT game, but they also have moments. They really are a schizophrenic team. And a lot of it just comes down to how solidly, how solidly they play defense.
That's right.
So much of it, because they can get their offense. They can score when they need to. They've got players that can score, but they've got to play solid defense for 40 minutes. And then when they do that, they can beat anybody.
Absolutely, they can. We've seen
they got to win over St. John's too, by the way. So St. John's, Florida, and Kentucky. You got those 3 wins in your pocket. You got to feel and the number 1 strength of schedule.
That's right.
I mean, those are all things in the plus column for this team.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the end of this game first.
All right.
Dramatic finish. Auburn had been bad in 1-score games. Even last year, we talked about this. They killed everybody, but we didn't have a lot of 1-score games. They weren't good at it. This year, we've been 1-4 in 1-score games. And at the end of the game, Overton gets a shot, misses it. Murphy gets a rebound and a layup again, just like you described, and it doesn't go in. And Elijah Freeman comes in for the great tip in at the end of the game. But
that was huge. That was so big. Yeah,
it was so huge. But then Kentucky still had the ball, and Auburn was up 1. Right. And Kentucky had the ball with 2 seconds left, something like that.
Yeah.
And
about 1
threw the ball in bounds.
Yeah. And Marino had done that exact thing to beat LSU. LSU was up on Kentucky by 1 score or 1 point in Baton Rouge earlier this season. And so they said, don't let anybody get behind him. I mean, don't let him get behind anybody. And Murphy was on the other side of him, but got a hand up there and was able to. I don't think Stephen Pearl even noticed it. He just said that they bobbled it. Well, they bobbled it because Murph got a hand on it. It looked like to me. Didn't it look like to you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Got a finger on it. It was like one of those deflected field goals where the ball just kind of hits the fingertips and kind of doesn't go through the. Yeah, it was going to Marino. He was going to catch it. They had done the same thing before. Murph get his fingertips on it. It disrupts it like a soccer kick where the goalkeeper's going to stop the kick and it hits somebody else and goes just enough to the side that he can't get it, And so it kind of landed in his chest instead of his hands, and he bobbles it, and then it ends up on the floor, and then that's it. Time is out. So good on Murphy. I thought Murphy played great offense and defense and rebounding the whole game. And then he had that one moment there at the very end to kind of preserve the victory.
He started the game, if you've forgotten, with a rebound and then a score under the basket. He ends the game, making that offensive rebound to keep it alive before Freeman got the tip in, and then the defensive play at the end. A gigantic game by Murphy at both ends of the court.
And I want to say about Elijah Freeman, it was crazy because Murphy was right under the goal. And you and I have talked many times. Remember back in 2022 when we had Walker Kessler, they would push him under the goal and take him out of the play. And Murphy had kind of gotten pushed under the goal and was never going to get that second rebound. There were 2 or 3 Kentucky guys around there that were standing there reaching up to get it. And Freeman, as you can see in the illustration here, Freeman just comes in out of nowhere, screaming in, and just very soft hands gets it and redirects it and then pulls his hands away so he's not interfering. I guess he could have dunked it too, right? But he kind of just he does a little volleyball tap over the net and gets it to go in, and that was all we needed. And that was it. So right. I just love, he kind of came out of nowhere. You're not even looking at him. You're looking, there's those Kentucky guys are going to get this rebound. That's going to be it. And he just comes in and jumps in between them. I've liked him all season. I feel like he's got great potential he has not tapped yet.
Agree. He's not a polished offensive player, but he's so athletic. He can jump. He can play defense. He's got long arms. He can rebound. I mean, he can run. He can fly coming down the floor. He can make plays. So I think he has a lot of untapped potential. You're saying, and this is an example of the kind of thing he can do.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, he's going to just get better and better.
I can't wait to see where he goes.
Oh, absolutely.
How he develops. So.
Yeah, man, I so much. I mean, this team can still do a lot this year, and I'm very excited about it. But I'm also looking forward to who we're going to be able to bring in. I mean, for all that we say positive and negative about Stephen Pearl, he didn't. He was part of the coaching staff that brought this squad in, but he wasn't the head coach. And so when he gets to bring his first his class in after this season, it's going to be very interesting to see who on this team he can keep that has eligibility and what kind of players he can bring in to complement them. It's going to be huge. It's going to be so important to his legacy and how long he lasts and everything. Is he our next great coach, or is he kind of an experiment to see who he can bring in and complement this team? Because obviously we're going to lose Murphy and we're going to lose Keyshawn Hall at the very least. This is their shot. And so we need to go as far as this team can go. But then it's going to be interesting to see who is alongside Elijah Freeman next year. Is Overton?
Hall and Murphy are the only two guys who are out of eligibility.
Okay. So, yeah, Freeman, Overton, and yeah, well, maybe we'll see. Tahad probably even going to go pro after the way this season has gone for him. And there's a couple of others, right? And so it's going to be nice to see.
I think Jovic and Sway have a lot of development room.
Sway, absolutely. Both of them also have tremendous potential. They all play like a bunch of real raw freshmen with a couple of seniors out there. So, yeah, we're back to where we were 3 or 4 years ago with the team. That's the thing, by the way, that always gets me is the critics, the people that are so negative on this team and negative on Stephen Pearl, act like Auburn has never been in kind of a rebuilding year before. And I'm like, did they just have selective memory and they carved out the seasons where Bruce had to rebuild, like 21 and 2018 or 2017 or whatever? I mean, there were seasons where we really struggled. Honestly, Wendell Green's first year was not the greatest thing.
Oh, yes. Very similar. Since you brought up the Stephen Pearl questions, here's one for you. Did you read friend of the podcast Doug Dean's newsletter this weekend?
I think I did. What did he say?
He made a great point about Stephen Pearl, comparing him to another coach who's had struggled in his first year as an SEC head coach. And do you know who that coach is?
Who?
Todd Golden. Todd Golden's first year, this is a point Doug Dean made. In Todd Golden's first year at Florida, they went 9-9 in the SEC and 16-17 overall, and ended the year losing in the SEC tournament and the NIT.
Yeah, absolutely right. But he wasn't the son of the previous Florida coach, so he didn't come under the same scrutiny. That's the thing that's so annoying, is that Stephen's going to get more scrutiny than he really deserves, and he's not going to get as much time, perhaps, as he deserves. So it's not right. It's stupid. It's short-sighted by a lot of people.
Well, I think it's short-sighted by people yelling on the internet. I think serious people who are in charge of the basketball program do not think that way.
Right. I hope that you're right, because I feel like Stephen, in terms of just a coach, there's nothing wrong with his coaching. We know that we like this coaching staff. I thought he's done a fine job this year. I mean, the only thing that you can really fault him for this year personally is if you want to say that it's somehow his fault that they weren't focused enough on defense the last 5 games before Kentucky. I mean, you can, if you want to do that, and I'm not saying anybody does, but that's not Bruce's fault. That is more on him. But otherwise, I don't know what you can say wrong with Stephen Pearl so far. And again, the way he coached against Florida what he goes to get coached against St. John's, what he coached against Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, we almost beat Alabama, didn't we? Am I crazy? What was a close
You're
game?
not crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
I think we got a real shot at them in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, their huge home hanger advantage there, will be tough, but we might get lost trying to find our way to the court in there, like that Spinal Tap scene where the guys can't find the stage. They'll be wandering around in the bowels of that airplane hangar trying to find the basketball court. And War Eagle, open the door, and there's like a janitor standing there. What you fellas doing down here? So Keyshawn Murphy, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, 1 assist, 6 for 6 at the free throw line was huge. He's been shooting free throws really well.
He has.
And the 3-pointer, huge.
That was a big shot.
Big shot. That was let's be honest, that was a Janai Broome shot.
Mm-hmm.
The big man steps out and just casually knocks down the 3. That was a Janai Broome cold-blooded shot.
We had to have it. I mean, we put, as you said, we played really good defense against Kentucky, but we had stretches where we couldn't put the ball in the ocean. And other than Murphy, you're right. Like, nobody could make a layup in this game. Ball was rolling off the rim, bouncing off the backboard all over the place. But the defense was so good, it really kept us in it. Kentucky had a long stretch in the second half where they couldn't score.
Mm-hmm.
They had been one of the hotter three-point shooting teams in the SEC, and our three-point defense had been terrible, so that really scared me. But we held them to 6 of 23 from 3, and especially that one guy had been shooting 58%, and we shut him down. And we forced 14 turnovers from them.
Yeah, that was huge too. The defense and the turnovers it just makes a huge difference. I love Stephen Pearl's quote though about you remember the guy from Mississippi State that lit us up for almost 50?
Hubbard. Mm-hmm.
Hubbard. They played South Carolina or somebody, and he went like 4 for 20. And Stephen Pearl said, I read that and I thought I was going to throw up. Because it's like, oh, against us, you can't freaking miss upside down backwards, throwing it over your shoulder, and against them, you can't hit a thing. So basketball is it's like golf. Sometimes the shots are falling and sometimes they're not.
That's right.
So it's just how it goes. But I mean, let's see what else we want to hit on there.
I want to talk about the officiating for 1 second.
So Kentucky certainly wanted to talk about the officiating.
Well, we'll start there. Mark Pope was very angry about that push-off call on the inbounds play at the end.
That's too damn bad, isn't it?
It definitely was a foul. It's not always a foul they're going to call at that giant moment of the game, but he extended his arms. It was a foul.
Oh, there's no doubt.
But there were also I thought this officiating crew was terrible. There were multiple calls against Auburn that were just complete.
Nobody touched anybody.
Yes,
complete phantom play. It was crazy.
And part of that was this stupid kind of makeup mentality the refs have now, where if one team in an SEC game, if one team is getting too many foul calls, they'll even it up before the end of the game. They don't. If you look at the stats over time, I'd love to see somebody really break this out. Like, they're never ever going to call 20 fouls on one team and 10 on the other. They're going to be like, nope, we got to make up some calls here and even it up. And that's what they were doing with those stupid calls against Auburn, was evening it up because Kentucky was hacking us all over the place.
Yeah, Pearl said that in the first 5 minutes of the game, you could have called a foul on every play.
Sure. I mean, the rebounding was people were down there killing each other. So, the refs let it get away, and then they call these fouls where Auburn guys were in the vicinity of Kentucky players. So,
oh yeah, in the same area code, they'd say, "Up, there it is." So, and the next time we get a review going our way, it'll be the first time this season.
I know when they're going to the monitor, we're getting ready to get ripped off. So.
There's no rubber glove on when they go to the monitor. All right, Auburn, bend over. Here we go. So I don't know if there's anything else we want to talk about, but you made the good point about Todd Golden.
I think the only thing I just want to say is it still means a lot to me when we beat freaking Kentucky in basketball.
Oh, yes.
They are Kentucky, and they're down a little bit right now, and it's killing them, but it is a big freaking deal to beat them.
And they whine and find excuses after a loss like Alabama football fans do. Those two fan bases are in a class by themselves when it comes to it wasn't our fault. The referees were out to get us. Those two fan bases at Kentucky basketball and Alabama football. But I repeat myself.
I was going to say, same people.
Same people, right. And that would explain a lot. And it's that same entitled mentality. We deserve to always win because we're who we are. So if we lose, it's not because you played better than us. It's we had to have been robbed. That's that brain disease that they both got. It's why they couldn't accept losing to Cam Newton, because it just didn't compute that we would have a player that could do that to them. So they just couldn't accept it. Made them lose their freaking minds and poison trees and stuff. They couldn't calculate it in their brain. I mean, I've said it about Alabama football people, and I'm going to say it about Kentucky basketball people after Saturday.
You're an idiot, and there's probably something wrong with your character as well. You're not just misguided, but you're probably sort of evil, or at least so ignorant that you are effectively evil.
That's the best description of an Alabama football fan I've ever heard, and I'm going to apply it to Kentucky basketball fans, at least for this one game, because they acted like Alabama football fans. They acted like spoiled, entitled babies.
Nothing but the truth.
On a level few have ever seen before. All right. Well, we've got Oklahoma coming up Tuesday night. Some of you may be listening to this on the podcast Tuesday morning, and so you just got to make it through a work day, and then Auburn basketball. Now, my wife was complaining that it's at 8 o'clock. I said, well, think about poor John. He's got it at 9 o'clock.
So imagine like the game ends at like 11:15 Eastern time, and it's a tense down to the wire game, and I'm stressed out or whatever. And then I got to try to get to sleep and get up and get to work. So
I tell you right now, I was not dropping off to sleep Saturday night.
No.
I was so fired up, man. I was running around the living room. Boris did 3 massive somersaults through the loft. That's what he does. And I caught him, thankfully. But yeah, it was pretty exciting. I had a tough time going to sleep Saturday night after that game. And then I woke up in time to see the hockey game. So that worked out really well. Just rolled out of bed, hockey game was on. There we go. So we got to get past Oklahoma, who's one of those weird teams that's, I mean, describe them. They can score, but they can't really stop you from scoring. And didn't we beat them once already?
No, I don't think we played them this year. They are good on offense and terrible on defense. You'll remember last year they had that little point guard who ended up going to the NBA who was so good.
That's what I'm thinking about.
He's gone, but we've got to play him over there. So it's actually, at the moment, if we win in Norman, it will be another quad 1 win. So
wow.
Because they're in the top 60 of KenPom. So that, they are terrible on defense, though. We will be able to go in there and get a few stops and kind of light them up, score a bunch of points. So I feel good about that.
So Oklahoma's a gettable win. Then Saturday, Ole Miss at home. And we know we can beat Ole Miss at home. You don't want to mess around and lose to Ole Miss, especially at home. Nope. And then I believe we got LSU, right? So
that's right.
We could be 3-0 after we could be 4-0 counting the Kentucky game. I don't want to count my Sooners and Rebels and Bayou Bengals before they're hatched, but we're in a position now to close the season strong if we choose to do it.
Agree. No, the middle part of the schedule was super tough, and now we're getting some of the easier teams that everybody else has already played.
Yes. Yeah. So and I mean, the ones that we had a shot at earlier, we lost by like a last second fluke, like to Georgia and Texas A&M and everything. So
that's right.
All right. What's going on in football? I keep hearing about we got a big commitment, but we only got 2, right, for the next season so far.
We
But
did, and we've been talking about other stuff the last couple weeks and hadn't mentioned this, but Auburn got a commitment from the #1 high school player in the state of Alabama,
there we
a
go.
defensive lineman named Donovan Moore out of Hueytown. And this is for the class that will sign in December of 26. But again, a big-time defensive lineman, top player in the state. I think that's a pretty good start after only being on the job for a few weeks for the new coaching staff.
Yes, absolutely. Man, I love this new coaching staff so much. I feel like they retained a lot of what was best of last year, including Vontrell King-Williams and Durkin. And I feel like the offense is going to be exciting. I love everything about it. I just can't wait. I mean, we've still got a ways to wait. But I mean, think about it. 2026 is laying out in front of us. You can just see the vision now. We got basketball season going to run us into March, hopefully deep into the tournament if everything goes well. Around the same time that basketball season starts to wind down, Formula One is kicking back in. We got the new cars, going to be very mystery. It's not going to be one guy going to dominate like it has for the past few years. And then we get through the summer with that, John, and here comes football season. We got A-Day coming up. We're going to actually have a real football game for A-Day. Man, I tell you right now, if Golesh wanted to get people excited, the one easy thing to do is, yeah, we'll play a football game on A-Day. That's all he had. That's all you had to say, son. Shoot. So, I mean, and then here comes the season. So it really just kind of lines up really nice for us. You know, I'm excited.
Very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a good 2026. Going to be a very good 2026. I got 2 books I'm going to be finishing up that'll be coming out later this year. I just quick update for the listeners and the readers. We're not doing a new Auburn book this year because I haven't done any novels in a while. All of 24, all of 25, I didn't do any fiction writing. And so with my new column for Blackgate magazine, I got to be careful with my time. So I'm writing a book right now, Monaco Heist, the 3rd heist novel in the Heist trilogy, Harper and Salsa. Those are bestsellers, award-winning books. I'm excited about that. I put a lot of work in on that today. Let me tell y'all real quick, because y'all are a sports audience. You'll enjoy this. I was watching the 1967 Monaco Grand Prix in black and white on YouTube this afternoon at work. That's a heck of a way to spend an afternoon at work, right? And taking notes because I had to describe the beginning of the race for the book. So I'm like, you know how I break down the Iron Bowl and stuff in our books? I was breaking down the 1967 Monaco Grand Prix. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. So when they used to have a guy in a suit and tie standing in the middle of the track with a flag to start the race. Talk about insane jobs nobody would be allowed to do today. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. So that's basketball and football. Do we have anything? We talked about baseball. Anything else we have going on before we thank the patrons?
Well, speaking of Formula One and fantasy Formula One, we're only a couple of weeks away from March Madness, and that means the bracket challenge against myself, Van, Boris, Jared, and our many other listeners. I see Boris is ready to go. He's ready to compete again. We have many listeners who have won other recent competitions who are champions of life or whatever, and they'll be in this bracket against us. So bring it on.
Bring it on.
Selection Sunday is March 15th. So we're talking about like 3 weeks from today. We'll be announcing this bracket challenge, and you have to be a patron to compete against Van and I.
That's right. So if you join www.auwishbone.com, join our Patreon, you will get an invitation, a special engraved platinum level invitation from John in the email, letting you hook up and join our March Madness brackets. And we always get a bunch of people. The March Madness brackets and the bowl pick'em, we get like 75 people. It's awesome. It's so good. And I can't wait. It's so much fun. So
start thinking of a good name for your bracket now.
That's right. And as you mentioned, with talking about Formula One starts back at the beginning of March. So pretty soon now, we need to send out the links to be putting together your 2 Formula One teams. You basically get to put together a team of 5 drivers and 1 constructor. And this year, one of your constructor choices will be Cadillac. That's exciting. I'm totally going to have Cadillac on one of my teams. You know, they'll be like $1.75, right?
Yes, they will.
It'll
Pay
be,
you to take them.
yeah, your money will actually go up if you take Cadillac. But you know, they're not the worst team right now. Aston Martin with poor old Fernando is currently seen as the lowest of the 11 teams. Cadillac's only 10. Things did not go the way that they were supposed to for Adrian Newey and Aston Martin. All right, let me thank our patrons. And again, you join up. Go ahead and join up now, and you'll be eligible to do the March Madness brackets and the Fantasy Formula One in the next month or two when we get it going. Plus, the greatest thing about it all is it keeps our show ad-free. This show on YouTube and on podcasts, we have no ads. So go to www.auwishbone.com, click on the big orange button to become a patron. Here are our current patrons that we always thank every week. They include, of course, our title sponsor for Worst Coaches in the World, Samuel Salvatore. We'll get to that in just a minute. And we've also got to thank Logan Chilton, who reminds us, what do you sacrifice to be an Auburn fan?
So what do I sacrifice? Everything.
It's so true. Ben Spooner, who, you know, if we didn't have Ben as a sponsor, it would be
Blasphemy!
Carl Von Drunker, Chris and Clinton Stewart. Baseball is straight up killing it right now.
Please clap.
Earl Ricks, Phil Amthor, now giving Van and John a break from the sound clip since the dismal years are over, I hope. Richard Stevens, Steve Trawick, Ann Pridgeon, Shane Bailey, Susan Trawick, Willie Carden win from Norman, Oklahoma. And I hope we win in Norman, Oklahoma tomorrow night. Gary Grant, a.k.a. AU fan at KSC. By the way, my wife likes to look on Instagram and see the basketball team getting on the plane to fly to their games like this because they carry their snacks in these big gallon Ziploc bags. And so she's always zooming in to see what their snacks are. You know who had the best snacks? Chad Baker Mazzara. He looked like he had a pillow of Ziploc bag full of snacks that he would take with him. Skinny as a rail and a bag full of sugar every time. And Tahad usually has his Chick-fil-A box. William Morgan, I already said Willie Carden, William Morgan, Bradley Blackman, Eric Morgan, Michael Kirshner. If Carol Shelby could see Mark Pope, he would say,
I don't speak Italian, but he ain't happy.
Yeah, that's coming up. Bear with us on that. There's more to say about that. David WDE Salmons Esquire, G Money, Rich Reimer, Steve Harlan, Wes Atkinson, Dan Thompson, a few more patrons. Then back to the authorities. Catherine England, Will Summerford, no one fights like Gaston, War Eagle always, Jacob and Robin Fleming, Mickey B, Winston Body, washed up fantasy F1 team principal. That could apply to a lot of people after last season. Brandon Smith, Daniel Odom, 2008-2009 Taliban Wrangler World Champion, H-Town Danny, WDE Richie, Chris Hilton, Bob WDE Salmons, Auburn University Debate Team 74-75, and current Sleazy Shyster. Algo Rhythm and Blues, Rusty Owens, Goodbye Hugh, Hello Happiness, Luther and Kelly Ottaway. What did the limestone say to the geologist? Don't take me for granted. Plus, while I'm clicking the button, I got to show you my shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts I've owned for the last few years. I'm wearing on the show for those who are watching on YouTube. This is my famous "You just lost to Auburn basketball" and our social media mob. Oh, I love this shirt so much. I bust it out every time we win a game. Haven't been able to wear it for the last couple of weeks. Been very frustrating. So you darn sure I wore it to class today. Todd Robinson, a.k.a. undisputed 2012 doubles badminton intramural champion. Chad McDowell, Auburn football's Elvis. Wade Ward, Reynolds Wolf, Philip Martin, Jeff Hunter. David G. is the health and safety rep for, I don't have it on here right now. I'll just go ahead and do it. Joe's Barbecue Foot Massage. There you go. Timothy Russell Milling. I'll have to get it on here again. Russell Milling, Randall Walker. The soundboard only holds so many buttons, and I occasionally have to pitch one over the side in order to keep get the other ones on here. So, I mean, when you've got 75 Kingdom of Heaven clips, there's only enough room for a few other things, you know. Timothy Russell Milling, Randall Walker, David Simpson, Josh Teal, Tony Perry, Rob Morgan, Patrick Williams says the AU Wishbone simply is.
Whether you like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today.
Woo! Construction Tiger, Papa Todd, Cato, the SEC Pick'em champion, Stephen Houston, Kevin Mahan, Blake Heron, Sarah Hines, Sasquatch, 7-time North America hide and seek champion, last year's basketball bracket winner, Tim Pittman. Here he is live in studio. Boris the Tiger. What? Charles Mooney. Why do all trees in Mississippi lean towards the east? Because Alabama sucks. I give him credit for that one. I like that. David D. Auburn Blue. Dr. Crackham. Bill Weathers. Eternal Glory. Walt is at least excited for baseball, softball, golf, tennis, and dare I say it, football. Again.
Please clap.
Antoine Morris, ABB, Wiggeber, the 2005 Auburn University Intramural Horseshoes champion, Tyler Ward, Mark Squire. Cue the anthem, boys. All right, I'm not going to be able to sing it tonight, but. Boris, number 1. Auburn, number 1. Golesh, number 1. That's about the best I could do tonight. I'm sorry. Alex Wynn, Kenneth Brent Raines, the barbecue.
You have failed me for the last time.
AKA Armanet for life. John I like that Kenneth Brent Raines is basically keeping that Darth Vader clip on the soundboard single-handedly for the last year or so. John Stubbs, Clay Henson, Justin Bean, James Taylor, Ruth and Darren Sutherland, Ben Amos, Spanky, thank God you all are back. My fun meter is low, and I need this group therapy. I think that was probably before the Kentucky game, and that would be fair. Chris Como, and finally, Darren Pyle, Theodore Gary, David Smiley, Trevor Johnson, Royce Alvarez, college equestrian expert Auburn Elvis, AU Falling Up, John Otsuki, Paul Bankson, MVP Captivating, Kathy Bright.
You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
Ben Regas, Bobby Polite, Elizabeth Donald, I'll buy this for $1, Rich Hammett, Chris Braun, Alex Brown, Siberian Tiger, the Slinko family, Daniel Witten, Tim Sauls, Jim McCrory. Why did the frog take the bus to work? He got his car towed. I am Tiger. New York Tiger didn't know why the baseball was getting bigger. Then it hit him.
Okay, that's not bad either.
Woo! CT Tiger, Jim Myers, Trey Jackson, Howard Franz, Peter Wang, Willie Moe, Zach Doiron, Stephen Thompson, Matt Flowers, Harry Zager, Chris, and our one-time anonymous donors. We thank you all. www.auwishbone.com. And now we have a Guess the Game from Jared.
Hello, Van, John, the rest of the AU Wishbone family. This is Jared Albrecht, the yard sale artist, here with Guess the Game number 163. Guess the Game 163 is brought to you by Stephen Houston. Let's give a listen to what Stephen sent in.
Here we go. Big call here.
After further review, the runner lost possession of the ball prior to making the goal line. Therefore, it was a fumble. The ball was recovered by Auburn. It was only a touchback. First down at the 3-yard line.
That is huge.
Okay, guys, I will see you in the hint file.
All right. The announcers were.
Did it sound like Rod Bramblett to me? Did it sound like it to you?
It's Dan White, I thought.
Okay, fair enough.
So that means the time period is
2003 to 2019-ish.
Okay. On the play, the other team fumbled the ball heading into the end zone, and Auburn recovered it for a touchback.
Yes.
So the other team almost scored. Instead, they fumbled, and we recovered for a touchback.
So we got it out on like the 20.
Mm-hmm.
So that always makes me think of first of the Mississippi State game from like 2011, where they were, was it like Chris Relf trying to get in and we tackled him in the backfield coming around, but I don't think he fumbled. I think it was just a stop on downs. I can't remember. So their running back fumbled into the end zone and we recovered it. Is that what I'm to understand?
Like let's go to the hint file. Maybe we can pick up a name of somebody.
Yeah, it's not ringing a bell.
Here we are on the hint file. I don't think there was any bleeps in there to remove, so this might just be a re-listen. I don't know. Let's give it a listen.
Here we go. Big call here.
After further review, the runner lost possession of the ball prior to making the goal line. Therefore, it was a fumble. The ball was recovered by Auburn. It was only a touchback. First down at the 20-yard line.
That is huge.
Okay, guys. I'll see you in the answer file.
By crowd reaction, definitely a home game.
Okay. It
So,
wasn't that crazy Missouri game because that was after he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And we won the game when that happened. There wasn't any, we get it out on the 20-yard line or anything. But that was that's the most recent thing I can remember of them fumbling into our end zone.
Yeah.
Man, that is just not ringing a bell for me at all. That's a good one. I like these obscure plays in games that it doesn't immediately. And I mean, and give them credit.
And there's no context clues. Yeah.
There was nothing to bleep there. We just got to figure it out based on.
There's no player names. There's no team names. We know it was a home game where Auburn recovered a fumble.
Wouldn't you say it was probably later in the game because he said it was a big thing, and if it was in the first quarter, he would have cared. Man, that's just not ringing a bell for me. I'm afraid I'm going to have to.
Let's pick a year and a team and just guess. I think that's my answer, right?
Well, it clearly wasn't Alabama or anything, right? I mean, it wasn't a huge.
We would know immediately the play if it was that. So I'd like it's going to be like Mississippi State in
17 or something. Can't be too much later. It won't.
15.
15. Sure. Yeah, I don't remember a lot from that year. All right, Mississippi State 2015. Let's go.
All right, Van, John, if you guys figured out that this is Auburn playing Ole Miss in 2014, then you win. I want to thank Stephen Houston for sending that in. If you have a suggestion for Guess the Game, you want to be like Stephen, I can be found at lots of different places.
I know what
I am at Yard Sale Artist on X, Facebook, and Instagram, or you can email me directly at Jared, that's JARROD, at theyardsaleartist.com. Until next time, Van, John, we
had the right state, and we were off by a year. That's incredible. Good call on the 15. I was going too late. But you know what? The mistake that I made that threw me off mentally the entire time is I was thinking of a running back, and that was a receiver. Yeah. That was the play where Frost tackled their receiver.
It injured the guy, right?
It injured him catastrophically and kept him from scoring. Yes, that was that play. If I thought I put myself in the running back hole without any reason to, I just went there. And that's what, if you'd said it was a receiver, I'd have been like, I got it. I don't know. But good job by all concerned there. And it's always good to have.
That was a good one. If you're a listener and you got that and we didn't, I want to know because I'm prepared to be impressed.
Somebody probably did though, because they probably didn't think running back, and then they thought, oh yeah, that Ole Miss guy. But anyway, all right, on we go. Coming up, it's the listener questions and around the SEC. But first, brought to you by title sponsor Samuel Salvatore. It's our weekly look at the most biggest doofuses, dorks, and knuckleheads that ever coached the coaching coach. The worst coaches in the world. And this week, brought to you by title sponsor Samuel Salvatore, we have one entry and one entry only, and you know who it is. The worst coach of the world is Mark Pope. Doing non-common Kentucky basketball program habits. That's a good one from Samuel. Blaming the officials for a loss to Auburn. Well, they got to blame somebody. They can't blame themselves. And as I noted earlier, Mark Pope is now the first Kentucky coach to lose his first 2 games to the Auburn Tigers.
And the ex-Kentucky coaches are thriving. You know, Calipari at Arkansas, our man Pitino at St. John's, they're doing well. Meanwhile, Kentucky with Pope is...
Although, you make a good point there. Stephen Pearl is now 3-1 against Kentucky former or current coaches. Right? The only loss was the second game against Arkansas.
That's right.
3-1. Are there any other former Kentucky coaches that are still coaching out there that he can go beat?
I don't think Gillespie's still coaching.
The one that went to Oklahoma State, or where's Tubby Smith nowadays when you need him? When you need him.
Mm-mm.
All right, 3-1. Stephen Pearl against Kentucky coaches, making Mark Pope, the Holy Father, King of the Conclave, and worst coach in the world. All right. And now.
Thank you. Order. Questions to the Prime Minister.
It's time for listener questions. Dun, 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 on the AU Wishbone podcast.
What?
All right. First question this evening is from Paul Bankston, who says, it's always bothered me to see students in the Auburn student section at basketball games, especially versus Kentucky, sporting opposing team shirts and cheering for the other school. It just seems wrong. I wish there was a way to tell students who are clothed in such fashion for any opposing team they're not allowed to sit in the Auburn student section. Your thoughts? Petty? Maybe. Paul Bankston.
I can speak as somebody who has more than once attempted to get Kentucky fans kicked out of Auburn Arena when it was the Coliseum, the Memorial Coliseum. I went and got security guards on their butts twice. And the second time I was told those are Auburn veterinary grad students with student tickets, but they went undergrad to Kentucky and they cheer for Kentucky basketball even when they play at Auburn.
Yes. So the state of Kentucky does not have a large animal veterinary school. So the students who want to major in that grad school come to Auburn and study in the graduate program at Auburn. And so that there are always Kentucky undergrad students who are doing their graduate work at Auburn.
A bunch.
Always. It's actually may even be like a formal partnership between the two universities in that program. So
I think that's right. So yes, I agree completely with our listener question. I too protested it. I tried to do something about it, and I found out that they had legit student tickets, and there was nothing that could be done.
And then Van tried to get him thrown out again.
Yeah, I did. I tried. Didn't work, but I tried. I had my Cliff Dweller shirts on back in those days, man. Proud wearing my Cliff Dweller shirt.
All right. Our next email is from Matt online, who pointed out some great nicknames that we missed last week in the nickname segment question. We had a good listener question about nicknames. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And he pointed out a few we forgot. He says, sorry if you did mention these, but I don't remember hearing them. Lionel Little Train James.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
He says, Cadillac Williams. I don't know how we left that one off.
Yeah.
Tank Bigsby, another all-timer. And he says,
these are very good. I don't know how we missed them.
Nick Aaron Murray's father, Fairley. He says, I made that one up.
so true, though. It's so true. Yeah. Or as Buck Ballou would say, Nick Rockstar Fairley, because he said if he played for Georgia, Georgia fans would have said he was a rock star. So
That's right.
I remember that quote. I'll never forget. So yeah, those are great. Those are really good ones. And we thought of some good ones too. So between the two sets, those are really good. Yeah.
Last email is from frequent emailer Bill Miner, who says the subject line is basketball road games, ? He says, hey guys, I'm going to Austin, Texas for work next week. And sadly, Auburn isn't playing at Texas in basketball at the same time where I would go. It made me think of a question to ask the basketball authorities. Throwing out Van's trip to St. Louis and Columbia to see Auburn, have you seen Auburn basketball in person at other locations? Living in Baltimore, I made the trip in 2016 to see Auburn play BC at Madison Square Garden, which was cool. I also saw them play in 2019 against Davidson in Annapolis. Wow. I even saw them play Florida State in 2009 during Lebo's first season when I was visiting others in Tallahassee. Is a different vibe than road games of football for sure, but still cool. Mm-hmm. Up here, I have seen Auburn play at UVA. When years before the Final Four, we played a home and home with them in basketball, and I saw us play in Charlottesville. I saw them play UVA in Richmond in the VCU arena. This was 15 years ago, maybe. A great game, a great little fun arena that in downtown Richmond. Auburn played UVA there. And then I saw them play Georgia Tech in the Omni. And
you were at the Hersey Hawkins game, right?
Well, that was an NCAA tournament game. That was in the Omni as well. And I feel like I've seen him play a couple other.
Well, you and
that's right. We saw him in James Madison in Harrisonburg, Virginia. We drove down from Northern Virginia and saw that game. When Lefty Drizel was the James Madison coach at the time. That was a rowdy, small arena. Those fans were all over us.
I think St. Louis and Missouri, as the listener accurately quoted there, are other than that James Madison game, that may be the only time I've seen Auburn basketball out of Auburn. Those three places. I feel like there might be another one that I'm forgetting. Well, in the tournament, I saw them play in Atlanta in 2004, maybe, and I saw them play in St. Louis in 2018. Remember when the season just fell apart at the end and they really crapped out? I was at that. They lost to Alabama in the very first game of the SEC tournament, and that was no fun. But I was at that one. So, yeah, postseason games I've seen in Atlanta and in whatever arena that was in St. Louis. It may have been the big hockey arena where the Blues play.
I feel like.
By the way, did you see the goalkeeper for Canada in the gold medal game was the St. Louis Blues goalkeeper?
I did see that.
We were like, oh no, I don't like the Blues. I don't care. But it was just funny that he's our local guy and he was there because the American goalkeeper in that game was fantastic. Goalie was fantastic. He was incredible. But the Canadian was pretty dang good too. So that was impressive.
I really wanted to go to this Annapolis game that Bill mentioned in 2019 when Davidson played. That was a good Auburn team, and it was a fun matchup. It was in Annapolis. It was a couple hours from here, but it was a weeknight. It didn't work out. So,
yeah, that would be cool. One day I'll maybe get over and see him in Kentucky because that's probably the closest to me other than Missouri that I can. I had a chance to go see him in Nashville, play Vanderbilt, and I was like, I'll pass. I just, it was, you beat Vandy, you lose to Vandy. It sucks that you drove 8 hours round trip for it. Plus it's a weird arena. I was just like, I'll pass. They don't need me. So, all right. Do we have any around the SEC at all? I don't know if there's anything going on.
No, we're saving up some good around the SEC for a future episode. We're going to do some comparing these, but no, there's not a lot going on other than we're in the home stretch of basketball, man. There's not a lot of season left.
Well, I'm going to say we were going to do our buy and sell. We put it off a couple of weeks now. And it's entirely my fault. I don't want to spend an extra 15, 20-minute segment when I'm barely able to breathe right now and trying to keep from breaking out in coughs every second we're on the air. So when I have a little more of my respiratory system back in place, we'll do that. But all right, so we have that all coming up. We'll get to the end of basketball. I can't wait. Oklahoma Tuesday night. If you can stay awake.
Be tough.
All right. Our time is up. We thank you for yours. War Eagle John.
War Eagle, babe.